I'm going to help you a little bit with your mutation worksheet to show you how this should be done. You'll see I arranged it by shrinking it down in the lower corner so that I could see both pages at once. This will be helpful when we learn how to use this chart. This mRNA chart, looks a little bit different than the one we used last time, which was the square one. This is another version of the chart. And actually, I find this one to be a little bit easier. So I'm going to teach you how to use this one as we go over the beginning of this worksheet as well. At the top of the worksheet, you will notice that we have both of our kinds of mutations that we discussed in our notes, the point mutation and the frame shift. And so as a quick reminder, a point mutation is when it changes at one point. So there's a substitution, like you get a T instead of an A, okay, or a G instead of a T. So one base is changed. And then you have frame shift, where you either delete a base or you insert a new base. And so that shifts the whole code after that. So we're going to be comparing all of these mutated sequences to this one original sequence. So let's first look at the sequence. I'm going to do just a couple here at the beginning to get you started and show you the best way to do this. You'll notice I kind of have them separated out already. There's little spaces between each 3 letters because it's a triplet code. We're going to be flipping our original DNA sequence into mRNA. So you kind of want to get your cursor underneath the letters because we're going to keep them lined up. And then we need to remember our rules for what letters go together. All right. So in DNA and to mRNA, everything is the same except where there would be a T, you have a U instead. So in this case, we have a T in my DNA, but that can still give me an A in my mRNA sequence. So that's going to turn into an A, but where I have this A here, that's actually going to be a U instead because that's uracil. And then C turns into G. And I'm going to do a couple spaces because I don't want these little codons, which are in the mRNA, kind of mushing together. It'll make my life easier later on in yours too. So here I have another A that's not going to turn into a T. It'll turn into a U. Here's a C. It's going to go a G because cars still go in the garage. And same here. And then I'm going to leave some spaces with my space bar. Now I have a T. T goes to A still. Well, off that. T goes to A, and this T is also going to go to A, and G still goes to C. Now I'm going to stop there, and you're going to continue on. So just keep going down the road, but I'm just going to do part of this. And then we're going to find our amino acid. So to find our amino acid using this chart, it's really easy. You take your 3 letters here, your AUG. I'm just going to highlight the ones I'm going to use right now on my AUG. And I'm going to go to my chart and you start in the center. So the first letter is A. This is A right there in the green. So that's my first letter. And then the second letter is U. I'm going to look for the U that's attached to it. So not that one, but here's my A, right? And so attached to it is this one right here. So A and then U. And then the last letter is G. So I'm looking for the G that's attached to the U, which is this one right here. And that gives me my amino acid, MET, right there. So that's going to be my first amino acid. And then I'm going to space bar over and find UGG. So here's U in the center, then G, and then G. And that gives me TRP. So I'm going to put that in there, TRP. And I'm going to space over to my next codon, which is AAC. So back to A, but now I'm going to the A next to it. And then C gives me ASN. So ASN. And then you're going to get your last 3. Don't forget to finish that up. I'm just getting started to show you. So then from there, we have these mutated sequences. So here's my mutated DNA. Let's say I got exposed to some kind of mutagen. I'm going to flip my code again into mRNA. And it's going to be very similar, but not exactly the same. So once again, T goes to A will go to U, and C goes to G. So right there, everything's the same as up here. And because it's the same, you could probably guess that your amino acid for that one is going to be the same one. It's going to be MET. So you don't even necessarily need to go and check that guy again. So now we go to this one. I have A goes to U, T goes to A, and C goes to G. Now this is different than this, isn't it? So now what we need to determine is if that is a point mutation where it only changed at one point, or, and let me get rid of this highlight so we don't confuse ourselves here, or is it a frame shift and everything's shifted? So if we look at the next one, we have T goes to A, T goes to A, G goes to C. Well, these ones are back to being the same, which if it was shifted, it probably would not be. You'd probably be missing one at the end or have an extra one, and that's what's happening. So the only, and it says here, highlight the change. So the only thing that's different is this A right here. So now I got to get the A. And we're going to use our highlight button there, and we're going to highlight that, and you can highlight whatever color you want. Let's do blue. I like blue. If it'll let me. There we go. Okay, so stop highlighting after that or else you'll lose your mind. So that's my mutation right there. And then I'm going to finish this. You're going to finish out that and compare it to this and make sure there's nothing else going on. And I got to go back to my amino acids. Now, because this one is different, it might not be the same one. So I got to go find out. UAG. So start at U over here, then the A connected to it, and the G next to that. Now this says stop. Well, that's bad news, right? So I'm going to write stop there. And I am going to keep going and getting my other amino acids just to see. But now if we have different amino acids, and let me go get my AAC for you, which is going to be the same as this one, is going to be ASN, right? So looking at just this part that we did, is there likely to be an effect? Is this going to be the same protein as this one? Well, no, because you don't have the same amino acids. So of course, there is going to be an effect. And so what kind of mutation was this? Was it a point or a frame shift? Well, it only changed in that one spot. So that is a point mutation. So you will have to finish these. Don't forget to finish those. But we have already determined there's going to be effect in this point. Now, sometimes there is no effect. Sometimes you get lucky and you get the same base. So if we had a mutation, it was in this letter, and we had UAA maybe, UAA, nope, sorry, I have to go up here. UGC, let's see, UGC, nope, that gives me a different one too. I didn't get lucky. But if I had UA, nope, where's another trip? I'm making a mess here. Oh, that's the only one. I picked a bad one to start with, y'all. But anyways, there's more than one way to get an amino acid. So like GUU would give you val, GUC would also give you val. So if your amino acids, if you get lucky and this one stays the same somehow, you're not going to be affected. You just got lucky. And so you'll see something like that on this worksheet. So I'm hoping by showing you that, that'll help you out and get you started. So you just highlight wherever the mutation is, and then your two answers down there, and you should have your codes all the way down and your amino acids all the way down using this chart. Or if you're more comfortable with the square one, you can pull one of those up and use it as well. I hope that helps, guys. Bye.